Welcome to our living room. Well, today is October 17th, and it's the 32nd anniversary of the Loma Prieta earthquake, which probably all of you have heard about. But for us, it very much changed our lives because the home that we had been living in for almost 14 years was totally, completely destroyed. And our little family of 5 were all in the house. And we all survived by miracle after miracle after miracle. We had 2 little girls and a 5-month-old, our baby boy, John Nuri. So we're not going to tell you the whole story of that because that could go on a long time. It's very interesting. But the theme of this today is, when really challenging, bad things happen, people say, why me? Why did this happen to me? And if you have that attitude, you will suffer. And the reverse of that is, what can I learn from this? So I'm just going to speak personally without saying we with this, because I think Barry had a different experience, but I really suffered after the earthquake. I loved the home that we were living in. All 3 of our children were born there, and it was a small home on a 120-acre ranch. There were hardly any neighbors around. We just loved it so much, and it was gone. Completely, not to be fixed ever, gone. And I really, why this happened to us? Because that was the most destruction of anybody I know of. Some people had some books fall out of their bookshelf. Some people had some broken plates. One person had a chimney fell down. Some of our friends had their chimney actually fall down. But for us, it was everything. Everything that could break, broke, including the house. So I went into just this grief. Why? Why did this have to happen to us? We're living good lives. We're loving our children. And as long as I had that attitude, I really was suffering. I really had a very difficult time finding joy in my life. And then at some point, it just switched. And I thought, what can I learn from this? This is really, really, really hard. It was really, really stressful, especially with a 5-month-old baby. What can I learn? And when I started to do that, it all changed around. We had, right after the earthquake, we moved to a rental house in a totally different city, far away from everything familiar, and we all hated it. It was a solid house. Our daughters had a bedroom, but we just hated it. We hated being so far away from everything. So Barry had the idea that we could ask our neighbor if we could camp on their property. And so we did for almost a year. Basically, we were homeless. We had a camper. We were all squeezed in. It wasn't ideal, but we were much happier there. And we learned resilience, and we learned that the 2 of us, that we could really work together well in crisis. This wasn't a week-long crisis. This was a very, very long crisis when everything's taken away from you. And then, of course, probably the greatest gift is that the property right next to our destroyed house, which we loved and we always wanted to buy, and the person who owned it would never sell it. He just wouldn't. And he called us and offered us a price that was so low. I mean, it's unbelievably low today's standards, and we could afford it because it was so low. And so we got this beautiful, where we're living now, 16 acres, and we were able to build a home where we have people come for retreats, and that's a really big gift. And so rather than, why did this have to happen to me, this kind of poor me attitude, when you can change it to, what do I have to learn? What is the gift in this for me? This is really hard, and I'm going to just be on the lookout to see, how can I grow? So, yeah, it's one of the hardest things we've ever gone through, definitely. But we've really, really grown a lot, and we learned to really call upon God's help for everything. Okay.
Yeah. We all are going, at some point in our lives we go through things that are very difficult. Like for us, this earthquake in 1989. And if you can just realize that everything that is difficult has a gift, it really does. And yeah, Joyce shared that, this is a huge gift for us to be able to now live on the property that we actually walked on every day from that old rental house. In fact, we now own, it's hard to say we own it, we're like the custodians of the 16 acres. But there was a trail that went from our old house out along this beautiful ridge, and we would sit in a chair on the trail, even though it wasn't our property. We still brought a chair, we sat there, and right now where we're sitting in our living room, that's where the chair was located, actually right in the center of our living room. And we would sit and we'd meditate and pray and ask even the nature spirits if there was a way that we could be guided to own this property. Let that happen. And sure enough, the earthquake was the way. And here we are. Some people actually blame us for the earthquake because we got such a big gift out of it. But anyway, I'd like to share one of my songs. Do thy will. Let me do thy will. Let my mind be still, and let me do thy will. Let me live in grace. Let me live in grace. Let me see your holy face, and let me live in grace. grace. Let me feel thy love. Let me feel thy love. I know it is enough just to feel thy love. So perhaps you can close your eyes and feel some really your own earthquake, something hard that you're going through. And it's hard to see the gift. And you're tempted to say, why me? And just, really give thanks that someday you will see the gift. And there'll be a great gift. It does take faith.
Oh, thank you very much for watching our little videos. Yeah, we have so much to be grateful for, all of us. All right, thank you.
We're so grateful for all of you.